Mike, 1, 2, 1, 2. Mike, 1, 2, 1, 2.
All right, James, I'm going to get on you a little bit here. Last year we had you in this press conference. You said you were ready to go, you were 100%, but that wasn't exactly the case. And you did your best to hide it, but it didn't last very long. Are you ready to go this year? Are you telling the truth?
Yeah. Sorry I had to lie to you guys last year. I had to keep it up. Keeping it around. Yeah, you know, this off-season's been really good. You know, we had 2 races on the Yamaha, you know, U.S. Open and Varsity, and was lucky enough to win both of those, and feel good. You know, we got the first time to ride in Nancy gear and stuff the year yesterday actually, and everything's going according to plan, so we'll see what happens.
You haven't ridden for another motorcycle manufacturer in a long time, since like the 50 days. What was that like? Was it exciting?
Yeah, no, switching to Yamaha, Samuel Yamaha has actually been, you know, for me, it's been a good change. You know, it's something that's a little spiced up, and everything's been going according to plan. You know, Larry Brooks and the guys have been working really hard and making me really comfortable. And to be honest, the change was actually pretty easy. You know, the few days we had before the U.S. Open, everything went good, and then you know, we had a few months now to actually prepare, and just kind of been riding back at my house a lot. You know, and like I said, you know, having a couple of races on that helps a lot, and you know, so hopefully we'll see what happens.
Okay. Let's open up the floor for questions from the press for James Stewart, our 2007 Supercross champion.
James, some of us old enough, fortunate enough to follow you throughout your career since many bikes. It's hard not to see a confidence about you, almost like a peace about you finally. It's like you've come to a point in your career where you're finally comfortable with where you're at. Can you talk about that and then how that translates to the track and your job?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think everybody has to have that peace, the inner peace. You know, you have to, I mean, it starts at home. You know, you got to have it at home. And, you know, I had a really good season last year. You know, unfortunately, I think it really started when I got hurt, you know, in the 07 and outdoors, and then, you know, was preparing really hard and came in here, and then, you know, ended up having to pull out the season and sitting out another 4 months. And, you know, you sit back and you watch Chad, you know, win championship, Kevin, and all those guys having a good time, and it makes you want to be out there. And I think, you know, I really found it there, you know, where it was like, man, you know what, I really love it. And, you know, I've been kind of having an attitude, you know, I don't really mind what happens. You know, I want to race and have a good time. And I think once you kind of get to that point in your career and then find that, you know, really nothing really bothers you. So, you know, everything that's been going on it's nothing really been bothering me. And I think for me, it just kind of helps my focus on the track and my focus on training. And, you know, hopefully, I'm sure you guys can see it too.
Off the track, you've also, over the last couple of years, changed quite a bit, and you know, seem also more comfortable as well. Can you talk about what goes into that, as far as not just what goes into racing, but what goes into, you know, handling all the pressures away from racing with the media and fans and everything else?
Like I've always said, winning helps. You know, you win, you know, everything's great. You know, and you know, last few races and stuff, I've been doing that, and I think, you know, like I said, you know, you got to have some point where, you know, race is one thing and your life's a different thing. And, you know, my best friend, Anthony Paggio, he's in the hospital right now, you know, and, you know, you look at things like that and you look, man, he was just at my house a couple days ago, now he's in the hospital. And, you know, you look at stuff like that and it makes you realize that, you know, I love racing, and, you know, we're truly blessed to do what we do. You know, I'm sure everybody that comes here loves doing their job, otherwise you guys wouldn't do it. And I think, with that attitude, you know, you really just appreciate everything you have. And, you know, for me, like I said, you know, switching over to a different team, Samuel, and I think everything's just been going according to plan. And hopefully tomorrow night we'll just have another good day.
James, when you approach this season, are you approaching it with the idea of taking back a championship that belongs to you, or to take something that Chad owns and you want it back?
Neither. To be honest, I'm coming here to race. You know, I'm worried about myself, James Stewart. I think, you know, as long as I do that, you know, whatever happens, like Kevin said, the best man is going to win. You know, and if it's Chad, or if it's Ryan, it's Kevin, or it's me, you know, it doesn't matter. And you know, I don't feel like, you know, that number plate is mine. So I have to earn it if I want it, and he won it rightfully and fair and square last year. You know, when you're sitting on the sidelines, it's not too much you can do, and you can't own anything that you didn't put the effort in and was there for the whole series. So I think it's definitely going to be tough, and you know, like him, you know, switching new teams, he's going to be happy, and I'm sure there's a grudge on the shoulder and stuff, and you know, I'm sure we'll see it tomorrow night.
You've been hurt a couple of times. Do you know a little better now where that edge is and where you can't go and return from safely?
Well, I think you know, injuries are part of the sport, and for me, you know, I had a couple of them and stuff, and you know, a lot of them, well, a few of them, I felt like it was one of those things that, you know, you never really knew what happened. You know, those are the hardest ones. You know, if you jump something or, you know, did something funny, you can always go back and say, all right, you know, I don't do that again. But some of the injuries and stuff, you know, it's been weird. And I think everybody knows their breaking points and stuff. And to be honest, I think to win the championship, you got to find that happy medium. And I guarantee at one point in the season, everybody's going to have that breaking point, and it's just going to be who handles the best and who makes it out.
Finally, let me ask you the same thing I asked Kevin. Is this battle or war when you get out there, or competition when you get out there tomorrow night?
Well, I think you know, when you got the 4 top, you know, best Supercross riders in the world, I mean, I think, you know, everybody says it's a perfect storm, and I think, yeah, if you're on the outside looking in, it is war and it is battle, but in my camp, I don't see it as that way. You know, I see it as we have to focus on what we need to do, and you know, if it does happen, if it does become a war, whatever, let that be. But you know, I'm not going out there tomorrow night thinking that there's anything I need to do different that I haven't been doing the last few months. And when I prepare at my house, I prepare as best as I can. I train as hard as I can, and you know, I have that motivation, that inner motivation myself, to where I don't have to look for something to motivate me. I have it already.
James, your team manager, Larry Brooks, has known he'll do whatever it takes. He'll go to the wall for his guys and do whatever it takes to try to win championships, which he's done many times. Conceivably, Chad Reed is going to be the one you're battling for this championship who's on that team. Have you talked about Chad's strengths and weaknesses, what you've learned, what his team has learned? Is that something that comes in your conversations throughout the day when you're testing and working on this championship?
No, to be honest, we don't even go down that route. You know, because like I said, I don't believe. You know, I believe Larry is a great team manager, and I think he knows a lot of stuff, you know, as far as with the bike, and, you know, he helps me with that, and, you know, as far as things on the track. But, you know, what happened in the past doesn't have anything to do with me. And, you know, me and Chad are completely different racers. We're completely different people, and I think, you know, what works for him won't work for me, and what works for me won't work for him. So, you know, there's no sense in me digging in that box and trying to find out, you know, that's none of my business. I haven't done it in the past, you know, every time we race, and I won't start now.
Okay. Aaron? Good.
James, at the factory level you guys are at, the bikes are somewhat comparable. What's been the biggest adjustment that you've had to make switching over to the new team?
Probably the biggest adjustment is probably not walking to the wrong place. You know, no. But I think, no, everything's been great. I mean, to be honest, I haven't had one problem, you know, to where, you know, we can't fix it. And, you know, that's the cool part. These guys from my mechanic Oscar, and like I said, with Larry and everybody, they knew a lot about the motorcycle. That transition helped me out a lot. You know, they told me some of the stuff that will work and won't work, and, you know, we have to find the things that work for me and works for everybody else. And I think every rider has a different setup, you know, whether somebody runs a rear end low, suspension stiff, soft, you know, it works on, you know, whoever the rider is. And, you know, I think these bikes are custom built for us. And, you know, when it's like that, it helps out a lot.
Guy being in the front row.
James, they talked about transitioning the style of the tracks a little bit. Is that something that you built into your training programs for this year, and the tracks at your house?
Yeah, the tracks are this year. Feld Entertainment did a good job at, you know, switching it up. You know, same goes with Dirtworks and stuff. You know, it takes a lot. You know, Rich and all those guys have been milling tracks for a long time, so, you know, it's pretty hard to figure out something new. And I think this year they're going to do a really good job at, you know, switching it up and making it fun for the riders and passing. And it's like everything. I mean, you know, for my program, you know, switching answer gear back to my old sponsor Red Bull, and, you know, Alpine Star and Bell helmets, I think it's changed for everybody, and I think that's what makes this season so exciting. That's why this press conference, I mean, this is the most full as I've seen it maybe since '05, and you know, I think that's good, and everybody's gonna really have a good time.
Ralph?
Hey James, obviously you've racked up all the big wins already, all these championships, 24-0 over the summer. A lot of people might think that inner motivation might be the record book now. Maybe that inner motivation is the fact of just switching to a new brand, proving you can win another bike like some other greats have done. What is that inner motivation for you, and where did you find it?
Well, I think, I mean, it started, you know, being around my family, you know, a lot. You know, I think it's a lot of things. I think, you know, my new trainer, Eldon, my friend Rado, I mean, I think everybody around me is, you know, real calm about the season. You know, nobody's really, you know, stressing out. And to me, it gives me that confidence that they feel like, you know, what I'm doing is working. You know, so when you have the whole program from the team, from everybody believing that what you're doing is the right way to do it, you have that confidence of knowing that, you know what, my program's working. It's I've proved that it works, and I think that's the motivation. You know, I think you know, last year, you know, getting my main goal was to just make it Glen Helen. You know, that was a big goal, you know, for me. And then, you know, once you have those little things and you just kind of, you know, pick and choose on those things, I think it you know, help motivate you to go through the season. So this year, I mean, I have a goal I want to do, and you know, we'll just see if that conquers. I can't tell you.
How about tease, a hint? Anything?
Yeah, I want to shoot in the 60s in golf.
High standard. Any other questions? That's going to do it with James Stewart, our 2007 champion. Welcome back, James.